Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Marion County Hardball. Tonight we're here with County Commissioner Paul Schaffer, and would like to remind anyone, if you're wanting to run for office, considering a run for office, it does not matter what your party affiliation is. You can contact Marion County Messenger, and we'll be happy to put you on Marion County Hardball. Okay, Roy, hand off to you.
Commissioner Schaffer, thank you for coming. Joan as well. I guess we'll kick off, and what seat and district are you going to run for?
I'm running for the seat I presently hold, District 3, Seat C.
Okay. All right, we'll get down to county business. In your view, what are the top challenges facing Marion County today?
For me, the top view is being open to the public, keeping the public informed as to what we're doing on their behalf, keeping taxes low, and being honest with the public in my duties as a county commissioner.
Okay. Okay, we're going to go record and accomplishment. What are your top 3 accomplishments during this term? For each, explain measurable benefits to the residents.
My accomplishments was taking CTAS courses so I could better understand Tennessee law, so I could better serve the community. Listening to what the constituents have to say, which is very hard sometimes, without interjecting my own thoughts. I want to hear everything they say so that I can better serve them and answer them in a truthful manner. And trying to keep taxes low, and also trying to get water to all the constituents that we can serve. I think that's the most important thing that we can do. I had one lady come up to me and say she has to walk a quarter of a mile to get water out of a stream. And this is the 21st century. We should be able to supply water to our constituents.
Good. Well, you were also on the ethics committee initially, right?
Yes.
I know you were trying to get a lot of the form that you put together signed by all the other commissioners.
I had put together, after much research and working with CTAS, in presenting a form for ethics. And I asked each county commissioner to sign for it, and the vote was 13 against and 2 for.
Okay. What promises from your last campaign did you keep, and which did you not, and why?
Well, first of all, I wanted to get the ethics document through and have everybody sign it, and I wasn't able to do that, and I was taken off the ethics committee after my first year because the county commissioners don't want to sign an ethics statement. And I think that's very important for the constituents to know that the county commissioners that they elect are ethical in their duties. I try to represent all the people. When a matter is brought before me, I try to research it to make sure that it is an authentic complaint or concern, and then I bring it up at the county commission meeting and see what the county commissioners want to act, whether they want to act on it or if they're going to just remain silent, which is most of the time they remain silent. I just try to do the best job that I can for the constituents of Marion County.
Okay. What's the one decision you regret, and how would you handle it differently now?
That's a hard question.
Okay.
There's not one thing that I regret. I try to be open-minded and not hold ill feelings against anybody. We're all here to serve the constituents of Marion County. And what's great is we have 15 county commissioners representing the 5 districts of Marion County. We're not always going to agree with each other, but what we need to do is sit down, have a clear, open mind, and discuss the problems. Are we always going to agree? No. Should we always agree? No. But there are a few people in there that will only go one way, and that's disheartening. I'd like to see more open dialogue and more people looking out for the future of Marion County.
Let me ask you, what separation of powers? Do you see a separation of powers between the executive branch of government inside Marion County and the legislative arm of government?
No.
Can you tell me a little bit more?
Well, for an example, the Planning Commission. The mayor sits on the Planning Commission as the head of the Planning Commission. He should not have a vote in the Planning Commission. He should be there as input to it. But the Planning Commission, first of all, I feel the Planning Commission needs to sit down, and this is something that I talked to the mayor about and it was like falling on deaf ears. We need to have a 5 and 10-year plan for Marion County where we sit down with the Chamber of Commerce, merchants, business, manufacturing, retail, and sit down and find out what they see and what they need from the county to help us grow in a controlled manner instead of the way we are now. We have no plans on how we're going to grow, where we want to grow, what we need. We need to bring more industry into Marion County to provide jobs so that we keep our young people here and give them an opportunity to grow and survive within the community where they've grown up instead of moving out to Chattanooga, Nashville, or wherever. Let's provide jobs here. Let's bring manufacturing into Marion County that provides good jobs for all the constituents.
Getting back to the separation of powers. Separation of powers, as we know, is big on checks and balances. Since, like you said, we're not seeing really a separation of powers, what checks and balances are there then? And what do you think is a way to cure this problem?
The way to cure the problem, or there are no checks and balances right now. The county commission should be the check for being the legislative arm of the executive branch. Right now, the executive branch makes the decisions, and there's no discussion at the legislative branch on it, because the executive branch has said, this is the way it's gonna be. What I'd like to see is, we need to set rules and regulations up for the planning commission on what they wanna do for the legislation, and how we're gonna legislate, and take some of the burden off the executive branch, who runs everything right now, in my opinion. We have very little say-so. We're told what's gonna come. We have no input into how things are being done. The executive branch does everything.
Let me ask you, maybe if the legislative arm of government, if they were all paid equally, and it wasn't based on the number of committees you're on, because what do they get per each committee meeting?
$75,
And then it's for a commission meeting, it's a,
$150.
so the more committees that you're on, the more money that you'll end up making. Some people,
Not necessarily,
well, no,
because you can be on animal control, the do-nothing committees, which
or that they don't meet.
they don't meet. I'm on 4 different committees, and I think I've only attended 2 meetings. And then we have other committees that
You
meet
mean this year? This year, yes.
This year. And then we have other committees that meet monthly. They never once asked me what I bring to the table to help Marion County grow. I went to the mayor's office when I was first elected, and I said, is there anything you want to know about me? And he says, no.
Well, do you think that if every commissioner was paid equally, regardless of how many committees you're on, would that potentially be a cure to stop the currying of favor? Because I'm sure you could get one to be more obedient if you said, hey, you play nice with me, I'll make sure you're on all these committees. Do you think that might be a solution to fix the problem?
I think that people that serve on some of these committees would relinquish that opportunity to someone else, because some of those committee meetings get very lengthy, and they wouldn't have to sit through it if they're going to get the same amount of money. They'd rather be on do-nothing committees and get paid the same. But I do agree with you that all county commissioners should be treated equally, and they're not today.
Now, just getting back to the mayoral part, the mayor doesn't vote on anything.
No,
So
not at the county commission meetings.
okay, I just wanted to clarify that we weren't.
The committee meetings, he does vote.
And also, getting back to about the planning commission and the mayor being the chair of the planning commission with having a vote, isn't he also on the Southeastern Development District, which is a consulting arm to the planning commission?
Yes,
And he's the
Yeah.
vice chair.
yes. And I think that's a conflict of interest.
And I think the mayor actually is the ex officio of all of the different committees, is he not?
That is correct.
So he's a non-voting member of all of them.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. All right, well, let's move on to budget, taxes, and fiscal management. How have you worked to control county spending and improve budget transparency?
When I first was elected, I asked the mayor for a detailed account of one account, which in 3.5 years, I still am waiting to receive. So as we get a summary of the budget, but we don't know how it's actually being spent. And the county commissioner's only job is the fiscal responsibilities of the county. But yet, the only people that see that is the finance committee. We do not see it.
So you're suggesting that in the budget process, if we were able to get a lot more detail. For instance, is it correct that the mayoral position has a $10,000 monthly, is it, discretional spending?
I think that's correct.
Do we get a breakdown of what monies or what that's spent on?
No,
So we don't have a clue.
we don't have a clue.
Okay, have you supported any tax increases or new fees?
No.
Okay.
With the growth that we have in Marion County, there's no reason why we need to increase taxes.
What will you do to strengthen fiscal reserves and improve long-term financial planning?
What we need to do, it goes back to what I said before, is we need to have a 5 and 10-year plan. So we know what we could look at for the growth, so that we can control the growth so that the growth between population coming into Marion County and job opportunities in Marion County are kind of leveled, which we don't have right now. And we need to control the growth and make sure that the infrastructure that we have can support the growth, which in most cases it does not. And that's one of the reasons why I said we need more checks and balances in the Planning Commission, which there are none. So that when developers come in and want to develop, they know what they have to do. They know what the basic requirements are that they need to supply and present that to the Planning Commission so that they have an idea, should we approve this development or not?
Now, you supported the law of 1981.
Yes.
Can you tell me why?
Because the law of 1981 would take the county budget, the school budget, and the sheriff's budget and combine them all into one. You'd have one manager overseeing all the budgets. We would still have people from the school district, from the sheriff's office, and from the county that would have input into it, but we have one director where we can then control how the money is being spent and be better fiscally responsible to the citizens of Marion County.
Well, would we also be consolidating all the budget efforts and theoretically we would have a CPA or
Correct.
a professional accountant?
To start up the law of 1980, it's going to be expensive at first, but in the long run, it's going to be less expensive because once you get it going and everything merged together, you would need less people to continue to manage it.
Right. And if I'm not mistaken, the county mayor today initially supported the law of 1981, tried to get it passed.
That is correct.
Okay.
And the county commissioners voted it down.
Let's go to public services and infrastructure, since we've already talked about. What are your priorities for road maintenance, bridges, and county facilities over the next term?
I think that this last budget process, we made a leap forward in funding for the road commissioner to maintain our roads. He was before set with a certain budget, and once that budget was spent, he could no longer do things. So if we had a storm come through and he had to bring in crews to cut down trees, to clear roads and clear that up, that's all money that came out of his budget where he could not use it to maintain roads. The one thing when my first year as county commissioner, I went with the road superintendent to look at roads throughout the county. And we went to one portion of the county and it was a gravel road. And I says, how come we have gravel roads? And he says, well, that's on my list to get paid. And I said, that would be great. I'm sure the people here would really like to see a paved road. The next year, he was able to pave that road. And the people that lived in that area went out and watched him and said, this is the first time that the county has ever provided anything for them. Now, these are taxpayers that are paying taxes. And this one gentleman said, in 50 years, this is the first time the county has ever done anything for us. Now, that's 50 years of tax dollars that went into the county that they never benefited from. We need to make sure that our roads are up to par, and I think that the county commissioners did a monumental job improving the budget and giving the road commissioner, I think it's $500,000 a year.
No, for this year.
For this, I thought it was for 5 years.
No, I don't think they didn't commit to, he had for his average, he needed to have it for 5
Right.
years. Last year, what did we give? I think we only gave him $10,000.
Yeah.
We gave him $10,000. And do you have the same understanding that for every $100,000 of extra money that's outside of state aid, that's 1 mile of resurface?
Mile.
No, it's 1 mile.
1 mile?
Of surface road.
Right.
So if we got $500,000, we get 5 extra miles of roads being fixed. So when we give them nothing, the only thing they have is what, state aid. And
Correct, gasoline
it
tax,
comes from the gasoline tax.
our portion.
So you would support giving the road superintendent the $500,000 that he needs for a 5-year, so he has a 5-year average?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, public safety and emergency services. How do you assess county emergency services, EMS, fire, sheriff? What needs immediate improvement?
Well, I think that we are making some monumental improvements. They are building 3 new towers within Marion County. The fire and police departments are now getting radios that are all merged together. They're using the same channel so that, and before they had separate channels, they weren't be able to communicate across the different fire departments. So now they'll all be on the same bandwidth. So they'll be able to coordinate disaster recovery and get the resources there in a timely manner. And I think that's a vast improvement of what we had before. So they are making steps into correcting it, and I support a positive step forward.
Okay. I think you kind of covered that one.
I'm glad.
How should the county balance public safety funding with other budget priorities?
I think public safety should be first.
Okay. All right, now we're going to get into economic development and jobs. What specific actions will you take to attract employers and support small businesses?
I think that the first step would be to meet with the Chamber of Commerce and find out what their vision is, because their vision should be part of our vision as county commissioners, and we need to support that. I'd also look at businesses and contact them and say, are you planning on growth? Would that growth be here? What can we facilitate you to grow? Bringing businesses into Marion County, we have a great asset with UT Extension. We could partner with the community, the college, and the developers and say, let's build a resource there to train people.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore we would take local people and train them. We just got the nursing program going. which I understand is doing very well. So we need to spread that out into maybe welders.
Mhm.
We can have welding classes up there so people learn how to weld, which is a great paying job. And we have job opportunities here for welders. What else do we do? What else can we do? New business comes in there. What do you need? What is your product going to be? How can we help you attain your product's growth?
Mhm.
And by doing that and getting the college involved with it and getting the facilities built to offer these programs and train the youth until we keep the youth here in Marion County instead of letting them go someplace else.
Well, you actually answered my next question, but I'll throw it out there anyhow. How will the county promote workforce development and job training for residents? You just answered it. How will you balance economic growth with preserving rural character and farmland?
Farmland is very important and we need to protect it. Because without the farmland, we will not have the food to put on our tables. And I think that we should do everything we can to protect the farmland. Economic growth is, we need to grow smart. And that's why I say we need to go back to the Chamber of Commerce and work with them in the business community to make sure that we have areas where businesses can flourish, that they have the resource. I mean, we have a natural resource here, the Tennessee River. We should work with TVA so that we can have access to it for barges to go through, pick up equipment and stuff so that we can transport it out of the county. We have I-24 that runs through the county. We could use that for traffic. I mean, we need to be able to say what we have that can help a company keep their costs down and yet be very productive.
Okay. Next topic is land use, zoning, and development. What is your stance on the recent land use decisions and the proposed Special Powers Act? How would you approach similar proposals in the future?
Right now, as far as I know, I have not seen any plans for land use. And that's one of the reasons why I said we need to protect farmland. We need to set up areas where we can have manufacturing growth where they don't interfere with residential. We need to set up guidelines as to no noise control. Right now, AI is very popular and it's growing. And what do they need is energy. We don't want to have a lot of energy built here to supply AI somewhere else. So if we're going to allow something to come here, we need to benefit from it. And if we can't benefit from it, then we don't need it here.
Well, right now, what do we have in place to stop any form of company that wants to come here to Marion County? Do we have any laws, any acts, anything other than TDEP for water and some of the compliance for
TVA? Yeah. No, all decisions are made by the mayor.
Well, so in your mind for next term, since we have no zoning, because I think what you just laid out was zoning.
Correct.
I think the majority of residents here don't want zoning. So what else can we put in place where we can at least regulate these companies that are coming here? We see quarry after quarry, which I know quarries, we all need gravel. I get that. But let's say a chicken facility wants to come into the valley. I think that's a water intensive industry, one, plus it's rather odoriferous, I believe, as well.
Yes.
So at this point, could we stop it?
No. Going back to, if we have rules and regulations, we need to get the public involved in this. One of the things is we need to have workshops where the public's invited. We listen to the public, we present what we see as a plan, and have them have their input. If we don't have input from the public, then we're not listening. And we're making decisions that are going to be detrimental to them. We need to listen to the public and get their input. If they see that we're listening to them and we actually take what they have to say into consideration of what we're doing and tell them what we're proposing, they'll buy into it. We might have to change some things, but you have a dialogue. And once you have dialogue, people will let their inhibitions about something go because they're getting input into it and they're getting more information, which in the past has not happened.
So in your opinion today, we have nothing to protect farmland in Marion County?
No.
All right.
Could I throw in, what about the watershed? As you go, I mean, the Tennessee River is a huge resource, but even that, Georgia would like to tap into that to get water out of the Tennessee River at Nickajack, and that's been an issue for years. But the Sequatchie River is a much smaller river and much more susceptible to contamination and also overuse.
Yes, upstream it is very overused, and it comes down to us, and it's a trickle.
Yes.
And I don't know how, I think that I would approach the state water management and see what controls they can put onto it as to how much water they can take up upstream. Because the more water they take out upstream, it's a trickle down here, and it does nothing for the farmers. It does nothing for us being able to provide water for the county residents. And this is something that needs to be done at a state level.
Yes.
I think your planning idea is a good one as well. If
Yes.
we have a 5-year, 10-year plan and get an idea of how many homes are going to be built between now and 10 years from now, and what would be our water consumption, so we have an idea whether or not we can support that, because we may not have the infrastructure to support it. So next term, that's a big issue for you then.
Yes.
Okay. All right. How will you ensure development reviews are transparent and include meaningful public input?
First of all, there should be notification when a new development is being proposed, which it is not. The Planning Commission does not give it. They do not give out their agenda. I have not seen an agenda from the Planning Commission. That should be something that's publicized on the website, which needs to be improved, because the
When you say
website,
website, you're talking about the county.
the county website, which needs to be updated and managed by professionals locally. And that way the public would have an idea what's happening and can then put in input. And there should be input put in, time allowed for residents to speak before and after at the Planning Commission, which now it isn't.
Well, do they not have a public comment section?
I haven't seen one. They do ask occasionally if anybody has anything, but there's very few people that attend Planning Commission.
Well, the county commission has, or should, have oversight over the planning commission. Is that something you would promote?
Yes,
So when they have, for instance, new regulations, new subdivision regulations, we could require them to come to us and give us a report, maybe at least quarterly, and let us know what's going on. That would make a lot of sense.
right. Right now, the Planning Commission is made up of the mayor, 2 county commissioners, which one is absent, real estate, and industry personnel.
So you feel that there is some issues with the planning commission needs to be addressed?
Yes.
And we're very thankful for everyone that volunteers on the planning commission.
Correct.
It's just the structure we need to look at.
Correct.
Okay, let's move along. So what policies do you support to protect sensitive environmental areas and manage stormwater? I guess we've already said really.
I jumped ahead on that. I'm sorry, Rick.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But we have none. That's a big problem.
Yes, it is.
Actually, we had a prior commissioner, Mac Reeves, came to the commission. You remember? And
Yes.
And he wanted to put a committee together, which I thought was a great idea. But it was.
As a geology student in the 1990s, late 80s, very early 90s, a gentleman came and spoke in my class, and it was a fossil fuels class, and he told us that water would be the oil of our career.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he was crazy.
It is.
And it is.
Well,
Even here.
any successful civilization had to have water.
That's right.
Okay, public health and social services. Okay, what should the county do to improve local health outcomes and access to care? Is a local hospital needed?
Yes. Park Ridge only offers emergency care. You know, with the growth of Marion County with Jasper Highlands and now River Gorge Ranch, the influx of people to have a place, a hospital that they can go to locally instead of having to travel 30 miles to go to Chattanooga or 114 miles to go to Nashville for health care is ridiculous. We have a facility here, and you know, I say, well, why don't we have Erlanger build a hospital? He says they can't because you have Park Ridge West, which I think is kind of ridiculous. You know, to say you can't build a hospital here because somebody else is already here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you go into metropolitan areas and you got numerous hospitals. I mean, you got Park Ridge West and Erlanger and Chattanooga. You go to Nashville, you have more hospitals there. Why can't we have two hospitals? Because it would give better and lower costs to the citizens if we have two people competing instead of having one and says, okay, this is what we're gonna charge, pay it or go get sick.
Okay, next topic is education and youth. How will you collaborate with county school boards and state officials to improve education and outcomes for our local students?
First of all, trying to talk to Dr. Griffith, I had a couple appointments with him, and I go to attend him, and they called me up. They changed it because he was going out of town. So it's very hard to communicate with him. In my prior life, I served both on local school boards, a community college board, and a governor appointed me to the state community college board. So education is a big, big priority for me. I'm dyslexic. I didn't know I was dyslexic until I was 28 years old. And I was just funneled through the school system. Finally, at 28 years old, I was given help. And I attended college and graduated from college. So I don't want to see students shuffle through the school system, which is happening now. We have more priorities set on sports and telling the students that you play this game here, you got a chance of making it into the pros. But they can't go to college because they don't have the educational grades to put themselves in college. We need to get our schools geared to protecting the educational values of the school. Sports should be secondary. Education should be primary.
Great. Okay, transparency, ethics, and constituent services. Do you think that we treat our citizens as a commission with respect and integrity?
I do. I can't speak for the other commissioners. That's up to them.
Do you think we need to have a form of training maybe to help, because there might be a situation where some folks just don't know how we're supposed to be treating our customers, or excuse me, not customers, but our citizenry.
They are our customers.
So you'd support that, would you not?
Oh, yes.
What steps will you take to increase transparency?
Well, for one, I tried to pass an ethics statement which would help with transparency. If we're all ethically bound by a piece of paper, it's just a piece of paper, but you're putting your name on it. You say, I'm going to be ethically responsible to the constituents of Marion County. You are then making a statement to them, and you're going to be held to a higher standard because of that statement. And that's what we need. We need to be held to a high standard. If we're going to support and protect the people of Marion County, they want the best out of us, and we have to give them the best.
For you, what's the difference between a direct conflict of interest and the appearance of a conflict of interest? And are they equal as far as in the state statutes?
A conflict of interest is, and I'm going to use the banking industry because that's the easiest one to do, is if we have county funds in a bank and a bank member from that bank is sitting on the county commission, they should recluse themselves for any dealings with that bank and explain why they're doing it. The other one is the gray area. And that's where if you have an ethics statement and the person is being ethical, that gray area becomes black and white. And that's why I supported and I brought forth an ethics statement that we would, each member would sign and say, I'll live to this standard, because if you don't live to that standard, then we have something where we could then take action if need be.
Do you think we have a conflict or the appearance of a problem?
There have been occasions, yes.
Do you, I guess you do you support a stricter county ethics policy?
Yes.
Okay, intergovernmental relations and state policies. How will you work with neighboring jurisdictions and state officials to advance Marion County's interests?
I am a member of the Armed Forces Committee, Veterans Association, that's with the state, where we have members from all 95 counties. And we look at proposals that will benefit veterans or be responsible for it. And we can then make recommendations and send to the state legislators to say, would like you to take action on this committee. And one of them was flying the American flag, where HOAs in some instances were restricting the use of flying the American flag. And we made a request to the state legislators, which passed last year, that HOAs cannot restrict the flying of the American flag. So we need to work with state government and the county and other counties around us to pass legislation that benefits us all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Okay, we're going to close to wrapping it up. Vision and priorities. If reelected, what are your top 3 priorities for the next term, and how will you measure success for each?
Biggest priority is keeping taxes low. I'm going to work to try and get a 5 and 10 year plan. I think that we need that for the growth of Marion County. And third is to have the county commission work more as a unified body instead of a separate body, separations. We need to work together. And right now, I don't see that we are all the time.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Commissioner Schaffer, we want to thank you very much for coming on and doing the interview with Marion County Hardball. We want to extend our gratitude to Ronnie and Charlene Hudson for letting us use their marvelous sunroom to conduct the interview. And again, I want to remind anybody out there, if you're running for office in Marion County or even Jackson or Grundy County, and you'd like to come on Marion County Hardball, we'd like to have you. Just send us a message. And we will be back next Monday night with another interview, as well as next Thursday.
Monday is the sheriff.
Monday.
Excuse me, not the sheriff. The candidate for sheriff.
Candidate for sheriff.
Michael Burnett.
Michael Burnett. And then Thursday is...
I don't have it in front of me.
Okay. We've got somebody Thursday.
Yeah.
So
I think
stay
it's Corey
tuned.
Pickett.
Corey Pickett. Okay. Okay. So watch for those notifications in your feed and join us then. And thank you for joining us tonight. Good evening.